Hi everyone, welcome to Live Stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. For today's Pilates conditioning class, we are toning into the trunk. I want you to think arms, core, upper body. For some of the exercises, we'll be taking active rest as we transition from one exercise to the other. At other times during the class, we are going to be powering right through with no rest so that we're challenging the body and loading a little bit more. As always, I'd like you to play where you're comfortable, modifying the movement if you need to, and taking a longer rest if you need to by pausing the stream. You ready to work? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up for today's class standing more or less in the middle of the mat with your feet in parallel, stacking underneath your hips. Tuck your tailbone under, pull your belly button in, and soften the arms at your side. Chin line nice and parallel to the floor, and long length through the spine. Take a big breath in and trace big circular patterns with the arms. Give me big sweeping motions, almost as if you were scooping through water. Keep that little tuck of your tailbone, belly button pulled in. Let's change the direction. Just gently mobilizing through the shoulders, waking up the shoulder girdle. 2 more sweeps. You're going to stop with the arms at your sides, and you're going to arc the arms up towards the midline and back to your start position. Moving in long strokes and giving as much length through the fingertips as you can. Almost as if somebody was tugging on your fingertips, trying to lengthen the chain of your arm. Keep that tuck of your tailbone, keep your belly button pulled in, and keep the weight bearing equal on your feet. 2 more. As you complete the last sweep, soften the knees and give me a T-arm. You're going to rotate, almost thinking 180, side to side, giving me a soft bend on the back leg as you twist. Two more. As you complete the last one, you're going to come back towards the midline of the body, bring your legs softly in, a little bit narrower, or you can keep them splayed softly apart if you need to. We're going to play with a dynamic chair line. Take a big breath in, and on an exhale, sit into an imaginary chair, giving me a push of the top arm into the bottom arm as you bend at the elbows, come back to your start position. Every time you sit back into your chair, weight into your bum and your heel. Push into those arms so that you're working with resistance, and also that pressure forward enables you to push the bum back and really get that nice loading through the legs. Two more sets to go. And then we'll bring it into a kneeling frame on the mat. If you need to, you can place a little bit of padding, maybe a rolled up towel underneath your knees. As you complete the last set, find your way onto the knees. Make sure that you've got a nice stack of your hips over the knees, and keep the toes softly tucked underneath behind you. Arms start softly at your side with the chin relaxed towards your chest. Take a big breath in, float the hands back, cupping your bum as you come into a gentle back bend. Exhale to nod your chin forward. You're going to play dynamically with this modified camel line, and I want you to focus on what's happening with your shoulder girdle as you play with your camel line today. So as you come into the back bend, think of the shoulders squeezing together behind your back and the chest opening up. As you nod your chin to your chest, think of that tight spot between the two shoulder blades opening up and releasing. The whole time that you're playing, you're not bowing out and losing your position on the mat. So you're keeping that high stack of your knees and your hips. You're keeping the belly button pulled in, and you're playing with that soft zip on the inside of your knees, all the way along the inner thighs towards your pubic area, and from your pubic area, zippering up towards your breastbone. Let's do 2 more, and then we're going to find our way onto the bum in a soft seated frame. So just relax the feet behind you, maybe sweep them underneath you, and come to a seat towards the top end of your mat. You need a runway to move just now. Sitting up nice and tall, place the hands at your sides, bend the knees, connect the soles of the feet to the mat, and then find your way onto the fingertips, tipping the weight just off your tailbone as if you were setting yourself up for a boat line. Give me a big breath in. Reach the toes for the opposite end of the room as you saw. Almost give me a soft U frame through the body. Brace your core. Control that contraction. We played with this one on Tuesday. Almost reaching with the toes for the wall at the opposite end of the room. Controlling as you bring the knees in and controlling as you lengthen through the body. Give me 4, 3, 2, the last one. You're going to sit up nice and tall at the front of the mat, and you're going to float the arms out in front, more or less shoulder height, palms looking down into the mat. We're going to butt creep to the other end of the mat. You're going to walk one bum cheek at a time, more or less 10 strokes, depending on how tall you are and the length of your mat. Once you've given me 10 strokes and you've reached the end of your mat, you're going to creep back to the front of your mat. Keep your core engaged. Keep your arms parallel to the floor. We're going to do that one more time. Think of the core driving your movement. Engage your powerhouse to make that movement happen. Let's do one more set. Keep those arms parallel. Keep that length through the spine as you walk. Last one. As you come back to your start position on the mat, softly drop the arms at your side, sweep the legs underneath you, and set yourself up in a 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. We're going to play between a plank line and a down dog, and you can modify the movement by using a 4-point kneel. I'll demo both for you. From your 4-point kneeling position, step back into a plank. Nice and strong, push the floor away, brace your core, strong through the shoulders. Exhale, hit a down dog. Inhale to come back to your plank position. You're going to oscillate between the two, working strongly. If you're modifying, move from 4-point kneeling to your down dog and come back slowly and softly, connecting your knees to the mat. Brace the core the whole time that you're playing. Strong through the core. Let's do 2 more, then we'll bring it into some active rest, playing up a side stretch. Find your way into a kneeling frame on the mat and start with the arms soft and relaxed on the top of your thighs. Take a big breath in to prepare, and on the exhale, dip off the center line, keeping that strong plank line through the trunk. So don't collapse and drop your bum towards your heels. Keep that a long line through the body as you float back. And float the arms up, stopping about shoulder height and then coming back to your start position. Keep playing with that zipper up action from your pubic bone towards your sternum. Give me 4, 3, 2, the last one. You're going to find your way back into a 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. You're going to give me a soft little bend in the elbows. I want those hands more or less shoulder width apart. You can take it a little bit wider if you need to and modify the movement. Give me a little bend, but keep hugging the elbows and the arms in towards the chest. Maybe bringing your chin just off the floor if you can. Pushing back up to your start position, tucking the toes under and giving me a down dog. Bring it back to 4-point kneeling. Mini push-up on the knees, trying to hover as close to the floor as you can before you come back to your down dog. You're going to shoot for between 5 and 10 repetitions and focus on keeping your arms squeezing in towards the midline of the body. Keep your core engaged. So keep bracing the core as if somebody was going to punch you in the gut. Don't allow that lower belly to hang on the floor. Let's do 5 more. Keep your breath flowing, don't hold the breath. Last 2, then we'll take it back into active rest. Give those arms a little bit of a timeout. As you complete your last one, really feeling those triceps now peel up along the center line. And this time, start with the arms in front of you and give me a soft little fist, palms looking down to the mat. As you dip off the center line, rotate through your wrists, keeping that long line through your trunk. Keep the core softly braced. And feel a nice stretch down the top of your quads. Change. You're going to find your way back to the mat and ease your way into a down dog shape. The next movement is very small, almost indiscernible. We're just going to shrug the shoulders while holding a down dog frame. Find your way to your down dog and just think almost of pushing the mat away and then collapsing towards the mat. So you're shrugging through the shoulders. Tiny little movement. Keep your elbows soft. Don't lock them out. Ten controlled shrugs. Keep your core braced. Keep the bum piped up towards the ceiling. 2 more. As you complete the last one, drop back down to the knees. Relax the feet. Float back up along the center line. Arms out in front. Palms looking in. Hands more or less shoulder width apart. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, open up into a soft T and come back to your start position. Working with soft resistance between the hands. So as you open up, push with the back of your hands against an imaginary weight. And as you come back towards your start position, pretend that you're squeezing into a ball. So that you're working with a soft engagement, keeping that trunk active, even though you're taking a little bit of a breather. Give me 2 more. Last one, you're going to find your way back into a down dog frame, and I will give you a modification if you need it. Find your down dog frame. Keep your bum piped up towards the ceiling, and just give me a little bend in the elbows, almost as if you were trying to drop your forearms to the floor, but not quite getting there. If this is too much for you, drop to a 4-point kneeling position and just give me a little soft relax of the elbow down, trying to bring your forearms as close to the floor as you can. So either from your little tabletop line, trying to relax your forearms into the mat, or holding your down dog frame and relaxing through the forearms, stopping just before your elbows actually meet the floor. Keep the bum piped up towards the ceiling and keep your belly button pulled in. Let's do 4 more. You're going to find your way into a plank line from here. Hold your plank line. You're going to flip right, stacking one leg on top of the other, opening up your arms into a T-frame, pausing, not collapsing your hips, keeping your hips up nice and high. Come back to your start position on the mat and flip left, opening up into a soft T frame, not dropping, keeping those hips nice and high. You're going to rinse and repeat, finding a steady rhythm of your own, playing in this T frame. If this is too much for you, you're going to drop to the knees and modify the movement as you flip over, extending the top leg and bending the bottom and giving me a modified side plank. Bring it back to the knees and softly roll over onto the other side. Wherever you're playing, you're going to work with control, work mindfully. Think of finding that balance through the core and the trunk. Keep lengthening through that top arm, almost as if there was a little piece of string that was pulling that arm up towards the ceiling. Let's do 5 more sets. Last set. Find your way onto the knees. Peel up, giving me a nice kneeling frame on the mat. And this time, as you start up, arms are parallel to the floor, you're going to give me a 4-stroke alternating between the right and the left side of the body. You're going to give me 4 strokes, and then we're going to move in the opposite direction and play with 5 backstrokes. Once you've done your 5 4-strokes, you're going to move in the opposite direction through the shoulders. Keeping that strong engagement of your trunk, long line from your pubis to your sternum. Let's do 2 more, and then we're going to find our way back into the plank line or into a 4-point kneeling frame if the plank is too much loading for you. Find your way back to the mat and plank line out. Push the mat away with your hands. Brace your core body line nice and parallel to the mat. Drag the weight forward over your wrists, almost resting on your toes, and push the weight back into your heels. So you're going to slide forward over the wrists and back to your start position, giving me weight into the heels. If this is too much for you, come to a soft 4-point kneeling frame. Maybe bend, lift the feet off the mat behind you, crossing the feet and swaying the body weight gently forward over the wrists and back to a modified 4-point kneeling frame. If keeping the feet hovering off the floor and crossed behind you is too much for you, you can relax the feet to the mat and just focus on that sway over the wrists. Give me 5, 4, 3, for the next one, you're going to transition straight into the down dog without any rest. From your down dog frame, you're going to come back into your plank, hit a down dog, and then reach opposite hand to foot. So you're almost giving me a little X shape. Find your way into plank. As you come back, touch opposite hand to foot, shooting for between 5 and 10 repetitions. If this is too much for you, just play between a 4-point kneel and a down dog. A 4-point kneel and a down dog. So play where you're comfortable. Don't rush through the exercises. Nice and mindful through the core as you play. I'm going to call that 6. 5. Keep your core braced. 4. 3. 2. The last one. We'll have a bit of active recovery. because the next exercise is quite loading. Relax the feet, peel up along the center line, and just gently float those arms out in front. As you dip off the center line, just keep those arms out in front of you, maybe playing with the wrist line and dropping the fingertips up towards the ceiling and then floating them down towards the floor. Focus on keeping that core nicely braced. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. For the next one, we're all going to execute the modified push-up on the knees. We're going to do 5 sets, and it's lots of loading through the arms, slow and controlled. You're going to descend for a slow count of 10. Hold and hover your chin off the floor for 10 seconds, and then come up with a slow ascent for 10. All right, finding a modified 4-point kneeling frame on the mat, hands more or less shoulder width apart. Try not to chicken wing the arms out, so keep your elbows hugging in towards the ribs. You're going to softly start micro bending through the elbow and bring it all the way down for a slow count of 10 to hover your chin off the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Squeeze in and hold for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Come back up the same way, slow and controlled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you need a little bit of a shakeout, release those wrists. Otherwise, fall right back into the second set. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold and hover. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Back up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Peel up softly along the center line. Release those wrists. We've got 3 more sets to go. Owie! Alrighty. Find your way back onto all fours. Let's bring it down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold and hover. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Back up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Peel up. Give me a little release through those wrists. Let's do one more. I'm sure you're cussing me by now. All right. Find your way back to your 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. When you're ready, you're going to bring it down in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kick it back in child. Big toes together, knees open nice and wide. Forehead relaxed on the floor, arms draped alongside the body. Just make those arms heavy and relaxed into the mat. Think of that little tight spot between your shoulder blades opening up and lengthening. Think of the arms almost falling off the shoulder girdle and melting into the mat. We're going to ease our way onto the belly from here. So I'd like you to come back into your little 4-point kneeling frame. And if your arms don't feel like they're going to fall off yet, you're going to give me a modified caterpillar to come down onto the belly. One more time, keep those elbows hugging in towards the center line. Just softly bend through the elbows, coming down with control. Pausing off the floor for a second, releasing to the belly. Feet soft and relaxed and parallel. Extend the arms out in front. Palms looking down, and relax your forehead to the mat. Pretend that there's a little marble underneath your nose. Roll the marble away from you. As you start peeling up, I want you to stop with your bottom 3 ribs heavy in the mat. Float your arms and your legs just off the mat. Don't kick up too high and hyperextend through the back. Just keep it really small for me at this stage. Focusing rather on length off the mat, almost as if your body line was parallel to the mat, and give me as much length through the fingertips and the toes as you can, keeping the head softly framed between the 2 arms. Float softly back down to the mat and rotate onto your right cheek, softening your whole body and allowing it to bleed into the mat as you take a little time out. We're going to come back into that Superman line, and we're going to marry it with a push-up. I will give you a modification if you need it. Float back onto the forehead. Find that little marble underneath your nose. Roll it away. As you peel up, float the arms and the legs, and find your hovering position with the bottom 3 ribs heavy into the mat. Then bend the elbows. Place the hands alongside your chest. Tuck the toes under. Push up negatively into a plank line. Push back down. And find your hovering Superman line, keeping the toes and the feet hovering off the floor. Find your Superman line. From your Superman line, tuck the toes under, come back into a plank line. If this is too much for you, you're going to modify the movement, bending softly through the knees, coming into a 4-point kneeling frame, before caterpillaring down and finding your way back into Superman. Bending through the knees, coming through 4-point kneel, caterpillar down, find your hovering position. So just playing where you're comfortable, shooting for between 5 and 10 repetitions, depending on how your arms are feeling. Round it up now. Let's do 3 more, and then we're going to end on the belly. The last one. As you complete the last one, find your Superman line and softly reconnect to the mat. As your forehead connects to the mat, lift and hover the opposite arm and leg just a millimeter or 2 off the floor. Change sides. The palm and the bridge of your foot that's connected to the floor, softly push down into the mat through those 2 limbs. Change sides. While you're pushing through your 2 points of contact, extend through the 2 hovering limbs. Change sides. Softly push down and lengthen at the same time. Change. Last one. Float softly back down to the mat. Lie on your left cheek and dissolve all of your muscle tension into the mat. Take a little time out. Alrighty, find your way back onto the forehead. Roll that marble away. Set up your Superman line. Rotate the palms in and flutter kick the arms and legs up and down as if you were swimming freestyle. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, float softly back down to the mat. Slide onto your right cheek. Bleed all of the muscle tension into the mat. We're going to modify the next little Superman line, and I'd like you to keep your feet connected to the mat. Find your way back onto the forehead. As you roll that marble away, hover just the arms off the floor and keep the legs soft and relaxed. Either palms down or palms in, you're going to trace 10 circles in one direction. Don't make the circles too big. Maybe using the diameter of a tennis ball as your guideline. Try to keep those bottom 3 ribs connected to the mat. Inhale for half, exhale for the other half. Once you've traced 10 circular traces in one direction, you're going to move in the opposite. 8, 7, 6, 4, 2, last one. Peel back down to the mat, slide onto your left cheek, and just bleed into the mat. Let go. Melt like a brick of butter in a hot skillet. Find your way back onto the forehead. You're going to keep your feet connected to the mat for the next 3 exercises. Find that marble underneath your nose. As you roll the marble away, hover the arms off the mat and then bring them into a soft T-frame. You've got your bottom 3 ribs connected to the mat. You're going to think of giving me soft sweeping motions up and down as if you were a bird flying and your arms were the wings. Keep lengthening through your spine and don't arch and drop your head back. So look down towards the mat and lengthen through the spine. 4, 3, 2. You're going to end high and you're going to flutter up and down. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. End higher still and hold. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Softly reconnect to the mat. Bend the elbows. Tuck them in towards your body line and find your way onto the forearms, stepping back into a plank line. Sway your body weight back and forth over the forearms, playing with the weight placement in your feet, dragging the weight back into the heels and onto the toes, trying to keep your core braced, push down softly through the forearms, and try to keep your body line nice and parallel to the floor. Those arms should be burning. The last one. Keep your feet in about half a foot space, giving me a modified down dog. Hold this position or play between a plank forearm and a down dog on the forearm. Either just holding your forearm plank or moving dynamically between the plank line and a soft down dog like frame. 3, 2, last one. Drop to 4-point kneeling. Come into an extended child. Big toes together, knees softly splayed out. Let's thread the needle. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, thread your right arm underneath your left armpit, almost peeking underneath that arm as if you were trying to look at the ceiling. Push softly into your left palm and make your whole right arm heavy into the mat. Find your way back to extended child and repeat on side 2. Take a big breath in, tuck your left arm underneath the right armpit. As you find your thread position, push softly into the right palm. Make your whole left arm heavy into the mat. Find your way back to an extended child position, and then creep your hands forward, coming into a puppy stretch with the forearms relaxed into the mat, your bum piped up to the ceiling, and your belly button pulled in. Pause here for a second, giving me a nice stretch into the shoulders, and then drag the weight forward onto your belly and just flip over, coming to lie on your back. We're going to load the next little 5 exercises into the belly, and between each exercise, you're either going to just come to rest on your back in a bridge-like position with the arms at your side and take a little time out, or you're going to give me a U-hold. We're going to modify the U-hold. So let's find the U-hold first. From your position on the mat, softly interlace the hands behind your head and give me a wide elbow. Take a big breath in to prepare. On the exhale, scoop, round out, lower back imprints, weight off the shoulders. Either just staying here with your feet connected to the mat, or float the legs softly and think of giving me a U-frame through the body, holding for 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to your start position. Let's take it into a single leg stretch. Big breath in, peel up, weight off the shoulders, arms hovering, left leg at 90, left hand braced on your shin, right hand to the inside of the knee, extend and hover the other leg. You're going to cycle through, bending one leg and extending the other, keeping your lower back scooped and imprinted, 2 fingers of air between the chin and the chest, weight off the shoulders. Focus on the leg that you're bringing into extension. Try and tap the wall at the other side of the room. Give me 4, 3. Last 2, you're going to bring it into recovery or find your U-hold shape. Either legs bent, connected to the mat, or softly hovering. 7, 5, 3, 1, tuck into a little ball frame, weight off the shoulders, hands on the shins, arms and legs open into a soft V and tuck back in. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, you're going to bring it into recovery, either lying on the mat, finding your U-frame modification, and hold. 8, 6, 4, 2. The last one, we're going to scissor in and out. Keep the weight off the shoulders, 2 fingers of air between the chin and the chest. As you slowly scissor the legs, bringing one leg in towards your nose and holding anywhere along the chain of the leg that you can connect to. Either dropping that leg all the way down to the floor or keeping your movement a little bit smaller. Give me 3, 2, drop down into recovery or find your U-hold frame that works for you and hold for 10 seconds. 6, 4, 2, 1. Relax down to the mat. Keep your head and your torso on the mat, arms at your sides, palms down, or tuck the hands underneath your bottom. Float your legs up to 90, drop them down to about 75, and back to your start position. Playing small, or bringing it all the way down and hovering just off the floor before you really use those lower abs to pull back up. Let your lower back be your guide. You do not want to feel the lower back, so if you're feeling any discomfort in the lower back, make your movement smaller. As long as you're working with control and you're feeling that little pull in the lower abdominal area. Keep your chin line soft and relaxed. Find your way into recovery, relaxed on the floor, or find your U-hold modification and hold for 10 seconds. 8, 6, 4, 2, last one. Connect the soles of the feet to the mat, hands interlaced behind your head, elbows nice and wide. We're going to crisscross. Take a big breath in, scoop, peel up off the shoulders, draw your legs, your left leg into 90, right leg extended. You're going to cross the arms over. Cycling through, bending and extending through the legs, and thinking knee to opposite armpit as you crisscross patterns, slow and controlled, trying to tap the wall at the opposite end of the room with your toe. Let's do 4, 3, 2, ready for your last U-hold, either relaxing to the mat, finding your modified U-hold, and holding for 10 seconds. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, yowza. Tuck your knees into the chest, gently cradle rock your lower back out. You're going to use that sideways rocking motion to roll over onto one side and prop yourself up in a 4-point kneeling frame on your mat. Hands stacking comfortably underneath your shoulders with the knees stacking underneath your hips. Don't drop the head towards the floor. Keep a long line through the spine and the neck. Keep your gaze down on the mat between the two thumbs. Take a big breath in, and on the exhale, float the left leg and the right arm into extension. Trying to keep your shoulders and your hips evenly stacked to the floor, so not dropping lower on one side of either the hips or the shoulders. Come back to your 4-point kneeling frame and replicate on the other side. Trying to stay steady through the shoulders, steady through the hips, and keeping your gaze down on the mat. Belly button stays firmly pulled in to the center line. Come back to your 4-point kneeling position. Hands flat on the floor, or you can give me a fisted line. If you're feeling the wrists, you can even give me spider hands. So just play where you're comfortable. Tuck your toes under. Take a big breath in, and on the exhale, round out in cat. Hold that shape and hover your knees off the floor, holding a strong contraction through the core and holding for roughly 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax back down. Take a little breather. Keeping a tabletop line if you need to release the wrists. Now would be a good time to do so. Take a big breath in. Tuck your toes under. Round out in cat. Lift, hold, and hover the legs at the knees off the floor. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. Bring it back down to the mat. Release the wrists if you need to. Keep the belly button softly pulled in. Don't allow that tummy to hang on the floor. Tuck your toes under. Exhale to round out. Hold that rounded frame. Lift, hold, and hover the knees off the floor. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. Bring it back down. Release your wrists. We've got one more to go. Keep that belly button pulled into the center line. Find your 4-point kneel. Tuck your toes under. Round out and hold that rounded cat frame. Lift, hold, and hover for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Keep the hovering position and walk your hands back towards your legs, finding your way back into a soft standing frame. Peeling up, stopping in a tabletop line as if you were balancing a teacup and a saucer on your back, dangling the arms down, and just trace 2 soft, interlacing circles on the floor. Maybe playing with the weight placement on your feet, gently rocking back and forth and looking for those tension spots. Change the direction of your circular release through the arms. Come to stillness along the midline, soften through the knees, and ragdoll roll up one vertebra at a time. Give me 3 roll downs. You can either work from a parallel foot stack, or you can float the heels in with the toes softly splayed to the side of the room. Nod your chin to your chest, round out through the belly as if you were stretching over a big ball. Keep the arms soft and relaxed to the floor as you peel down one vertebra at a time. Root through the feet, zipper up along the inner thighs to restack, realign your body, keeping that hollow frame as you peel back up. Sync your breath to your movement. Big inhale to prepare. Use a whole exhalation to come down with control. Use a whole exhalation to peel back up. One more roll down. Totally take your focus in. Mobilize one vertebra at a time as you come down. Nice control through the core. Using that same amount of control to restack your knees over your ankles, your hips over your knees, your shoulders over your hips. Float your hands to prayer. And just thank yourself for persevering and making it through the class. Namaste to you all. Thank you so much for coming out and playing with me today. I really hope that you enjoyed today's class. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Tell me if you found it really hard. Shoot me your comments, be honest. Remember to subscribe to this channel with your notification bell on, and I shall see you all for playtime on the mat tomorrow. We are going to be working a great mobilizing series to release and work into all the joints tomorrow. Until then, keep it light.